G'day guys, Rich from Elite Tackle. So one of the most common questions that I ask on a regular basis is, what's the best way to rig my lure? Being my popper, my stick bait, my slow pitch jig, or my long drop jig. So you know what? I thought I'd put together a little video for you guys to see exactly how I rig these particular lures. In this next video, I'm going to run through with you some very popular rigging methods for all the different sorts of lures, poppers, stick baits and jigs that are not only used by many of my customers from all over the world, but also too could be the 1% difference that it can make for you to keep connected to that big trophy fish. Please enjoy. So here I'm going to show you two of the most popular ways of rigging a stick bait. In my hand I have a sinking stick bait here that's rigged with two inline hooks. That would be probably the most popular method to rig a stick bait, but in recent times people are starting to rig their stick baits a bit more like this, with a treble in the belly and the single attached at the back like this. What you also notice is this has been double ringed, and that's important to note that, because the double ringing allows two things. It allows less leverage for the fish to have against the lure when hooked up, but also too gives the hook greater access to the fish with the ability of the hook that can completely turn around almost 360 degrees without being inhibited by the split ring itself. I'm going to rig for you guys here. I've got a 130 gram Street Fighter 5th element floating stick bait. I'm going to rig this one here the new school way, and that is with the single at the back and the treble on the belly. Now the way I choose what treble goes on the belly is I do it by looking at what size the width of the lure is, and then I pick a hook that I think looks right for the stick bait and also for the width of the lure. So in this case I've got what's that one, a 5.0. So if you see here, I'm looking at that there, it kind of looks a little bit small for me, and so I would go to the next size up. So this one here is a 6.0, that there, that's the Synotek 6.0 strike point. I can see there, that is a lot better and looks like the right size for me. So there's my treble that I've chosen for the belly. And then the single that goes at the back there, again, I do it by looks. I've got a pack here of the 7.0 Synotek. I look to see how that looks on the back of the lure. And in this case here, I can see that it looks too small. And I would go to the next size up. Here's an 8.0. That's looking better for me. And the 9.0. 9.0 is a bit big for my liking. So I would choose the 8.0. So now I've chosen my treble for the belly and my single for the back. Now what you need to note is the direction that the wire on the back of the lure is facing. Is it vertical or is it horizontal? And that's important, because if you want to double ring your hook at the back, you need to know the position of this hook. So for instance, if I was to put this hook on the back of here, as you can see, the eye of the hook is going the opposite way to the way that the wire is facing at the back of the lure. So that is correct. I need to have the eye going the opposite way. So in this case here, it's an offset eye hook, and therefore I can double ring this hook onto this lure. If it was facing, if this lure had a horizontal wire, I couldn't use this hook. I would have to use an inline hook, because the inline hook faces the opposite way to this hook. So that's how I choose the correct hook. So the first thing I want to do is connect the treble. One thing to note is, in this situation we have a NT swivel here, but some lures have fixed wire here. So when I look at the fixed wire that's usually running up and down the length of the lure, I look at which way my hook is going to face. So, and I want two of the barbs to be facing out, not one. And what I mean by that is, if I was to connect this to this lure and that was a fixed wire there, as you can see there, that when that hook lays down, there's only one point facing up. if I was to turn that around and fix it like this here, you can see there that in actual fact I've got two parts of the barb, two parts of the hook facing up. So that would be the better way to hook it. But in this case here, because we have a swivel that turns 360 degrees, it doesn't make any difference. The size of split ring I choose, again, I do it by eye. The most popular sizes we use in the industry are size 7, 8, 9 and 10. And most of my rigs that I use a size 8 and 9. So in this case here, this 130 gram lure, I'm going to use a size 9 split ring, which I think is good for this lure. So we just simply will open up the split ring like this. We put that onto onto my hook like so, and then I simply, what I do to do it, I actually get the swivel out as far as I can, pinch it in the corner like that, and I basically get my split ring. Sometimes you just got to get the split ring pliers right in the right place of the split ring itself, and then I just turn that around and that'll click on position. And as you can see there, it's got full 360 degrees, so I don't need to worry about where that treble is facing. So there's my belly hook done. And then for my tail hook, I then have selected the hooks. So I grab out a hook, and I can see that that's going to sit nicely at the back there like that. And therefore I'm going to double ring. So I'm going to choose two size 9 split rings. What I'll do is I'll put one split ring on the other split ring first. I mean, you can do this anyway. You could do the split ring onto the hook or onto the lure. It doesn't really matter as long as it goes on. So I've got the two split rings on together, and then what I'll do is I'll put the next one on the hook. Again, get the split ring in the right place. Doesn't matter if it goes up or down the hook. So I've clicked on. Now what is important now is the fact that this hook has to face up in the air. You don't want the hook facing down like that. That's incorrect. This is the best way for maximum hookup rate, that faces there. So I know if I put that split ring onto that tail like that, that it's going to be correct. And so what I do is I now know that if I put that on like this here, that is facing up. That there is a really popular rigging method for stick baits, floating and sinking. This here is still a great way to rig them and is a traditional way. Again, you can see the hook, that the inline, that's an inline single, is facing up, and that inline single is facing forward. That is the correct way to do it. That is still a great way, and allows, it's a great way because it also allows the lure to swim as uninhibited as possible. But this here is, I think, is a better way. The treble kind of anchors the stick bait, and when it moves in the water, it allows movement there, gives maximum hookup rate, but then you've got this great trailing hook situation. So that's it, guys. Hope you like the rigging. Certainly two things to think about there, and you should give it a go on your next time out. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I hope you found this video interesting and maybe even informative. It might have even given you some tips and tricks to help you on your next fishing adventure. Please don't forget to subscribe to our Elite Tackle YouTube channel. So click on the subscribe button below this video so you don't miss out on all the hot tips and tricks and secrets and even great video footage that I'm sure will help you become a better sports fishing lure angler. Now it's up to you. You're going to watch the latest video we've just put together of some awesome action of GTs being hooked up in our local waters, Or what about the trip we just did to Fiji, chasing monster dogtooth tuna on jigs? Let me know by leaving a comment below. Thanks for watching.